Hello YouTube, welcome to Sunday in the Shop. I'm starting early. It is a Wednesday because I'm so bored I make little clips. See them little ridges in there? I hope y'all know what one of these ring shank nails look like before I done this. You know what a regular nail look like. It's got the four sides of the point. You can see where it's smushed. This was done with no heat or nothing because these came out of a stove fire. I burned some boards in the wintertime. So if you get one of these ring shank nails, see how big it is? About 5 inches long. See the ridges? You'll see it when I'm done. You're going to have to heat it red hot, at least down here, and then let it cool down, like stick it in some dirt or some sand. Now, I have my junky turbo lighter over there. And I have got the very tip red hot and quenched it in water. Focus, come on, there you can do it. So that's hardened, and I've tested by pushing up against the vise and pushing on it to see if it'll bend, and it has toughened up. This is all done with a hammer. There's very little file work on this. You know, I always tell you to hit and pull with the metal, like with hammers like these. You know, hit and pull back. That's how I did that. And I don't do as I do. That's your choice. That is hard, and this hammer's hard. Okay, that metal's soft, so you know the metal's gonna get. And you don't have to hit as hard as you think you do. I use this hammer to tune it up, so you can imagine. I mean, come on. You're not. You're gonna chip them hammers. Might nick the handle or whatever. No, as you hit, imagine it's in there, you hit, you pull back. That's why you round these. Remember I was told you, round this part of your hammer back here. See underneath there? But you can keep this squared, because you might go in the corner wanting squared when you're making a tin box. Or if you're trying to push metal or pull metal, and I used to do my tin can stuff, that's why. And you can go back and find a video where I made this, or I'll try to find it and put a link to it. I'll do it in the comment section instead of the descriptions. Don't ask why I like doing it that way. See how I've custom made this hammer? Where it's rounded over. And this never had a split. This is a tack hammer, but it never had that split in it. Most people think, well, tack hammer, this one never had it. And I've had this one for a lot of years. I mean, I'm not making it up when I tell you I've had it since the 80s, because I know when I found it was back in the mid-80s. You see how many times it's been modified over here and done stuff how it's short? This is the handiest little thing you ever think of. See, we can jabber on more Sunday. We want to make a handle on this so we can use this by hand, okay? Not in a drill. Let's see if it'll focus down here on the edge of the table. Yeah, see my desk over from testing drill bits. Now, see how I rounded that over? Let's bring it back here first. You can see it in the shadow. There. You don't want that at a sharp point. It's just going to bend and break off. Watch this, just by hand with no handle. I know that's sawdust wood. This whatever cheapy, whatever they call these tabletops, but that's pretty impressive, huh? Yeah, so you're not really super thin except on the very edge, because you can see if we can get down here, we'll get it to focus again. I just hate using a tripod here. You can see there's really nothing you'd call a knife edge till you get down to the very tip. Can you see the blue in the metal where it was hot? It took a lot with my turbo lighter. I gotta get to the store and get some gas. Okay, let's keep working on it. We're done with this part. See where I put the tape, where I decided how far I wanted to go back, so I didn't hit it? Okay, let's decide how we can make a T-handle on this. You want to be able to carry this in your backpack, and I tell people, if you're going to go backpacking and you really get into it, and if I ever would have got into it, tools like this would have been in some pouch way in the bottom. I would have thrown it way in the bottom, because how often are you going to need it? But you know if you dig to the bottom of your backpack, this is going to be down there. Wouldn't it be cool to make some kind of flip handle like them hammers had, where you just flip the handle open like a pin? Okay, let's pause. We talked about that. Let's get the tape off, and we'll show you one little shot before we start working again of what a ring shank looks like, and why I like it, because you can use it as a wood rasp. Okay, I think we're on record. See how these are sharp this way, but not that way? Can you tell it? I think you can right there. So you can use it as a rasp when you pull backwards. Already done. I thought I was on record before. See that? We're going to take a close-up picture of that. So then you want to see a real close-up picture. Okay, we're going to take a break and find a way to put a handle on this and maybe make it shorter. We just do not know. This thing is about, seems pretty good. I think I guess 5 inches long. Some kind of T-handle so we can use this thing. I'm saying you can carry it in your backpack or somewhere. We want this one to be used by hand. We'll keep our tape up there till we finally get done. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, we're done with this tool. It sticks in there about 1/4 inch. So I put my pin and I went at an angle so I knew I'd hit the metal. So that's why you'll see it in a different spot over here where it came out. I put a little bit of clear coat on there to soak in the wood. And then it's going to get oil and grease on it. But now you got a nice to use handle. I can't tell you the measurement on that. Yes, I can. We'll learn where to put a ruler. About 3.5 inches. The handle is about 3 inches. You want enough handle. I mean, it might look kind of, you want enough handle to make it comfortable. You want to be able to turn it. Okay, next, there's a really good video on YouTube. I won't give you a link, you can find it. This is a square awl. It's called a bird cage awl or square awl. These marks are my own reference. The first line there on the left is about 1 inch back. The other one is 1.5 inches. That's just where I want to hold it in a vise. But see what I did with the file? Now it squared, sort of squared it. That way when we take it to the disc sander or whatever, don't belch on camera. Too much coffee. We're going to taper that back. And then it'll have another little bitty taper down here at the point, like you do on a punch. And this is 1/4 inch rod, and it is soft. It is 6 inches of rod. So we only need so much for the handle. It'll probably be about, what? I don't know. Put it in there like 1.5 inches. So you can do the math with 6 inches. It's going to be enough to bore through wood. You can bore right through a board with this when I'm done, okay? I might not demonstrate it, so go try to find that video. Just put it on YouTube, you'll see it. The guy showed it in great detail. He is a woodworker, and he's very good at explaining it. And you figure out why they call it a bird cage awl. Oh, you know, let's get to work. Let's build this little tool today. Okay, we're going to attempt this on a tripod. Once you've got it this way, you know, you take it square, file like this. Okay? Come out here and file it in like this, and then go the other way. X pattern, you know what I mean? File it this way, and file it that way. And you can do it either way. You can come from the back, go out. I'd rather kind of go this way. So I'm watching the edge. Because you're making a precision tool. This is all going to be 4 sharp edges here that's going to cut into the wood. So you're not rounding the corners. And you'll get it. See how it tapers up into that nice? Can you start to see it? I got the camera set up and I can't see the screen. Here. We get that nice taper like a screwdriver. So it doesn't have to be perfect. So we're not going to make our point yet. Till we've satisfied this is exactly square down here, okay? So we're taking our time. This is where you don't even have to use the bison knife. Just set it in your hand. Remember when you're starting round stuff when you sand it? Always go to the next pattern. If you just kept going like this, you're always like this. Your file's off. If you go like this, you're too much like this or this. If you file in the next pattern, you're keeping on a, what do they call that, a flat plane. And you'll see your marks. Pay attention to your file marks. Okay, that's all the instruction you get. Let's get busy again. Okay, I'm cheating using my Dremel tool, but just like filing, skip one. See the dot? Say you filed that side. Skip and go file here. That way you stay square. Don't file and go to the next one. You're just going to round it off. Trust me. See, I'm bringing that down to a point, like a chisel point. That way you get an idea of how much you ground away. See how wide that is? It will not focus. There. You see what I mean? That way you know how wide it's got to be, because we want a little small point down here at the end. We'll work on it. This really could only have been one cutter blade, because this is pretty stiff. And a big one is too big. It flexes too much, and you should not be grinding on the side of these. When you stack them, it's a lot safer. So, back to work. We'll get a little bitty point on here. It just don't want to focus in here. Okay, we finally got a handle shortage, so remember this nice screwdriver? I cut off that nice brand new screwdriver. That really held down in there. I had to really take a lot of force to get this off, and it was epoxied. So I wiggled and I wiggled, and I couldn't dare heat it. But I took a picture of this. Look down in there. Can you see where it's squared? I think you can see it. I took a picture. We're going to grind this square, okay? And we got to make this hole a little bit bigger. And plus, we're going to put like these teeth on it. And I think we can get this to grab it on, because we don't want this spinning on a handle. This is to bore through wood. And I think this will be tough enough if you want to hit on it with like a wooden mallet a little bit. You know, you want to pound the wood just a small amount. Now this cartridge is not in there very far. It just sets in the hole. And that bit did not go in there as far as this hole's drilled, because there's epoxy down in there. It only goes in there about half of that. So we're going to go for it. We're going to make that squared to fit right where the epoxy was. We're going to put the teeth on it. We'll get a block of wood or something so we don't hurt the point when we tap it down on her to keep test fitting it. We'll get it to work. We'll be back when this is done. This is the project for today. I got to get this done on Saturday. We need a video for tomorrow, so we've got to go to work. And it's nice out. It's about 60 degrees outside. I should be outside, but it's, of course, it's all muddy. We'll be back. Okay, can you see that in there? It goes in about right there. Can you see the square part? It's in there about a ½ inch total. What we did was we kept grinding it on a disc sander, and it got hotter and hotter and hotter. It was getting hot too. By the time I pressed it in here, this got hot on my hand. And I really pressed it in there hard too. I had it up against the edge of my table. I don't think that's going to turn when you're boring through wood. And that went right back in the epoxy that was in there where the square hole was before, which was a little bit smaller, of course. Well, a lot smaller. You figure by the time I put a square on there, it was smaller. And that's still usable for another project. I got the video on this, never posted. That's a screwdriver handle laid down and stuck in there. We make videos and we forget how many we got stashed in the computer. So we'll post that one sometime. That's the screwdriver handle all laid down in the drill press. And it is tool steel. It is quality. Yeah, it says Tool Steel USA. Get it over here. Think about Sunday in the shop. We're a little more slack. I'll post that video someday. There we go. We're done. We're out of here for the week. We'll test this someday. You'll see it. It'll be testing my square awl. We'll put it up against some wood and we'll see what damage we can do. We're going to polish it a little bit more. This is done with emery stone and a Dremel. All down in here. So that's no flitzing on them. So we're going to go ahead and flitz it again. So the pictures, it'll be flitzed. So look at the pictures, it'll be nice and shiny. Because ain't no use in showing us. We've showed you a little bit how we did plastic, but we'll get it shined up. We're done. We're out of here. Thanks for watching. See you next time.